It's gonna be okay, Donald Duck.
Wow.
Well, welcome back to the Filtered Podcast with me, Evan Owens, and
The only Colby.
the only Colby.
Because there is only one of me. Anyone else who has the name Colby does not have rights to it.
Don't have rights to that. Oh, talking about. I was gonna say talking about rights, but so many people probably
That's very
would.
dangerous. What
Yeah, that's
right
a
now.
very dangerous word right now. What I was gonna say was in the last video, I was trying to put music in the background,
Yeah.
but I had the hardest time trying to find something that matched our podcast.
So I'm guessing you gave up.
Yeah, I gave up really quickly
Yeah.
because you know how like some vlogs have that like beach little sound.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the only stuff I could find. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna look for more later.
Yikes. Yeah, we're not California vibes.
No.
We're more like Midwest experience vibes.
Yeah, honestly. Well, welcome back to the podcast. So today we're gonna be talking a little bit about last Halloween, which was 3 days ago. I kind of felt like a dummy because I thought it was yesterday, but time has flied pretty fast. Yeah, I know, voice crack, but
Wow. You should
Yeah.
be past that by now, Evan.
oh no, I'm still dealing with it.
Yeah, we're dealing with a lot here. We've been recording and working on things. So far, third time is the charm on podcast audio.
Yeah.
I think the first episode, in theory, has been uploaded by a long time ago.
Yeah, but yeah.
But that is merely in theory. We've been doing a lot of trial and error, emphasis on the air.
A lot of trial and error.
But in theory, we are through the weeds,
Yes.
per se.
We are learning, and it's been going decently okay.
Yep, I've found out the hard way that you really cannot trust the internet when it comes to certain details about podcasting.
Yeah.
There turns out to be a platform for Spotify. That was not the case from most YouTube videos that I watched.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
And then for whatever reason, I've realized I've never Googled podcast for Spotify. And the first thing that came up was podcasts for Spotify. And that was the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. And I could have saved myself about 2 hours.
Probably. I remember right before you left for your meeting, you told me to look for how to record off of Spotify.
Yeah. I was like, you're probably not going to have time for it to find something that works. But
And then you took like, what, 20 minutes?
It wasn't even 20 minutes. It was like I sat down. I'm like, all right, I'm going to look for a good platform. And then instantly it was the first thing that came up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, we've struggled more with passwords than anything else.
Oh my gosh, so many passwords. I'm so done with the passwords.
Yeah.
So on not Thanksgiving. Oh.
Not quite there yet.
Yeah, not there yet. On Halloween, I sent you some scary movies. Did you take any of them?
I did watch one of them. Me and my roommate, we really enjoy spooky movies right at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I am hardcore nothing demonic.
Yeah.
Because that stuff could very much be real.
Yeah.
But I do like a good little scary movie. Can
Like
kind of get you questioning things in life. But yeah, I did check out some of them. The one that we watched was Follow Request.
Yeah.
And that one was borderline for me.
Yeah.
I didn't look that one through that much. I just saw it was like PG-13 or whatever. I'm like, oh, cool.
Wait, can you isn't that the one where it was like the emo girl?
Yeah, the emo girl.
Okay. Yeah,
Sent her Follow Request.
I'm glad that you watched that because that movie freaks me out.
Yeah, the first half was kind of freaky. The second half wasn't.
The last half was like kind of shocking to me though.
The second half was like, oh, that
She becomes the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for a movie that's like 10 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was weird. I was like, okay, this is a good plot, and then they kind of introduced the witch stuff, and I was like, I don't like this anymore.
I'm sorry. There it's hard to find like any like good scary
Mm.
movies without any like demonic, unless
Yeah,
you're watching like The Quiet Place, which isn't really that
I would say it's
scary.
more of a thriller.
It's yeah, it's a thriller.
Yeah, I think I'm more on the thriller side of scary movies.
Yeah.
But no, one time I always had the stance of I do not want to watch a single demonic movie because
Yeah.
Satan has power, man, and I don't want to mess with anything of
Yeah,
that. I mean,
you don't want to test the waters.
I don't want to test the waters at all. So
Yeah.
it's a really hard line to walk sometimes with scary movies.
Yeah.
And kind of a funny story about where I kind of cemented that rule for me
Mhm.
was at Grace.
Yeah. What happened?
So it was my freshman year at Grace. It was during the height of COVID.
Yeah.
The hall below, so we weren't allowed to go between halls.
Were you still in Omega?
I was in Omega all 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the GGL and the RA got quarantined.
Yeah.
For those of who don't know, that's the hall leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So the hall below us was a freshman hall with no leadership. Everyone pretty much in that building is a freshman, besides leadership. And I peeked my head over the balcony down the hall below me. A bunch of guys looked up and go, "Hey, you want to watch a scary movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I like a good scary movie. As long as it's not demonic."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna watch The Conjuring."
Well, yeah, that's the mine.
And I was like, "Isn't that rated R?" And they're like, "Well, our RA isn't here, so we're just there's no one stopping us, so we're just gonna do it, and we can't really ask permission because it's almost midnight, but we want to watch a scary movie every night, and this is the one we decided on." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, isn't that demonic? I don't want to
Yeah.
watch anything demonic." And one of my friends, he looked me straight in the eyes and said, "I've seen this movie 1,000 times. It is not demonic." And I'm like, "Really? All I've ever heard is that it's demonic. This doesn't make any sense." He goes, "Oh, it's not. If you just want to leave, no shame in leaving, but we're gonna watch it." So I'll go down there and watch it. The first like 2/3 of that movie is like, this is kind of stupid. This is kind of lame.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting here, I'm like, this really doesn't feel demonic. And then the last third, it takes that plot twist
Mm-hmm.
of an exorcism and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm like not enjoying it, having a good time. All the lights are off.
Yeah.
Just like, and my friend looks over me, looks me in the eyes and goes, "I'm so sorry. I forgot about this part." I look at him. I'm like, "How on earth do you forget this part?" I'm honestly convinced he might have been not truthing me.
Yeah.
But ever since that day, I'm like, no demonic.
Yeah. This was before I even took in the consideration of like, oh yeah, this is like actually took it in like, oh yeah, this is bad. Me and my cousin each night when she was in town, because all my family lives in Illinois, I would watch a scary movie with her every night when she was here. So it was like maybe 12 o'clock when they would show up, and we would watch the movie that night. The first scary movie that I've ever watched was called Cams. Creepiest movie ever. It was disgusting. It wasn't demonic. It was some guy putting cameras in the person's Airbnb and watching them do everything.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because that stuff actually happens.
Yeah, and so like I watched that, and then we watched The Conjuring, we watched all of them, and I was like, I kept trying to figure out why do I keep watching this, because I was overcome with oh, I'm just hanging out with my cousin.
Yeah.
No, I never took in consideration that this is a big deal. Stop watching it.
Yeah.
So Probably 2017 to actually 2021.
Mm.
I stopped watching horror movies because, well, obviously, dem- demonic attacks are real.
Mm.
I don't want to be in any situation where I'm around Satan, so
Yeah.
I don't watch that stuff anymore. The only I know I shouldn't have a consideration, but I have one movie that I will play. Well, I will watch because it's a Netflix game and it's called it starts with a B. But I can play on on that movie as that character and select which way he can go in the story. And it's just kind of like a this guy was messed up in the brain.
Mm.
Um but I mean it's not really demonic as I don't call it. I don't think it's demonic, honestly. I think it's you know how like people think things like what's the word for people thinking that someone's real but they're really not?
Schizophrenic.
Yeah, schizophrenic. That's basically the whole movie.
Mm.
Um but yeah, that's the only like movie I can
Mm.
like slide,
Mm.
but any other movie I can't
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh no, it is really interesting seeing the amount of prevalence that it does have, because like there's even like my friends I would consider good solid Christians that are like, oh yeah, I love these movies. I'm like, but aren't you realizing that that's kind of glorifying the devil?
Yeah.
Like just like things like The Conjuring, be like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I'm like, it's really not. I think we should really step back and think about it.
Yeah.
Like I like a good scary movie. I like being scared, but like we're glorifying the devil and we're kind of giving him a little bit too much power and say, and like being like, hey, this seems okay. This is a scary movie. I'm like, well, things like even The Conjuring are based off of true stories.
Yeah.
And like, why are we almost celebrating a true story? It just feels weird.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we as Christians should be careful about and kind of monitor what we watch a little bit more, because
Yeah.
even just some things in society are even like, is that glorifying to the devil?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've had conversations with friends about some superhero movies sometimes, like Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
My friend didn't like it at all, and his main reason was it felt too demonic to him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I mean, that's fair if that's what you feel.
I
Go
mean,
for it.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I kind of felt that way with that movie, but I mean, it had enough where I could be like, no, it's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, there's some stuff like the part where the Scarlet Witch snaps Professor
X.
Professor X head. I mean, that was pretty scary.
Yeah.
So like, and I mean, she's a witch, so that would make sense.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing that people can debate, because like, where's she glorifying? Where's her power coming from?
Yeah.
Traditionally, she's in the comics just has a superpower, and that's kind of what the MCU does. Is she kind of just has a superpower?
Yeah. I mean, that's
So,
most superhero movies.
Yeah, and like that's kind of the conversation that we had. I'm like, I don't know if necessarily if the devil's getting glorification from that, but I get what you're saying, and that feels like something that we should kind of press pause and slow down on.
Yeah.
Just personally.
But that's something I actually think about. I mean, there is really like a tug on the brain, on the mind, with what are we watching, and are you making exceptions for something? Because you might like something so much that you're not even realizing that, oh crap, this is actually really bad. This is something that I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But you're going to do it either way because you're having that exception.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we do a lot. I mean, um, right now I'm on a fast food fast, and it could be so easy to be like, I'm gonna go to McDonald's,
Mhm.
but this is an exception because this is my free day. This is my
Yeah.
cheat day.
Yeah.
When my fast is for a whole year. Now that's like a little bit.
Mhm.
What's the word? Kind of
Justifying.
justifying. Yeah, but like horror movies,
Yeah.
you actually have to think about it and actually think about, is this, well, glorifying your
Mhm.
mind for the Lord, or
Yeah.
are you glorifying Satan
Mhm.
and the devil's actions upon you?
Yeah.
Because like oh, like I remember watching all those horror movies and feeling like crap the next day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think it's interesting in life. I've kind of noticed that no one is a better liar than you to yourself.
yeah.
It's amazing the things that we'll fight for and we'll champion for when other people are like, yeah, I feel kind of convicted about that. I don't know if that's necessarily that way,
Yeah.
but like, oh no, this is my thing. Like it can't be wrong because it's my thing, right?
Mhm.
I think it's a dangerous mindset to have, and I think that's what we have sometimes with entertainment and pop culture. I mean, I know I have been guilty of that, and I may still be at certain
Mhm.
times. And honestly, that's a little scary mindset to have.
Yeah. Hosier, you know Hosier.
Yeah,
His music is actually kind of great. Like
yeah,
I grew up with my mom watching Glee and stuff. So like we'll hear like Take Me to Church,
yeah.
which is kind of a great song, but
Mm-hmm.
the lyrics are really bad.
Yeah,
Take Me to Church, I'll worship like a dog.
yeah,
Like you're not talking about you're not talking about the church. You're not even talking about God. You're
yeah,
talking about something else
mm,
that is premarital.
yeah,
um like that kind of stuff. Like we listen to music and not actually taking stuff in.
yeah,
And that's honestly one way that the devil can get to you
mm,
is you're not paying attention to what you're feeding your mind.
mm,
Is this healthy? Is this not healthy? Um, and that's something that even I struggle with today. It's like, yeah, I want to pop in some Hosier and I want to listen to his album,
yeah,
but what's the point where I'm taking his words
yeah,
and I'm learning
mm,
inappropriate things from this?
yeah. Or are you just even affecting your mindset?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. Just what we'll do and what we'll accept and just kind of take. Earlier this year, I went on a 2-week media fast from pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And that was so nice and so enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I'd highly recommend people do it more often.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to do in everyday kind of sense that happened, I like to open up my day with the first thing being in the Word. Sometimes it's hard because you got to wake up early. And sometimes I'm like, I don't got it in me to wake up early, but I have to find that
Yeah.
some way. Because, in Romans 8, or not, maybe not Romans 8, but it's in Romans.
Yeah, it's in Romans.
Paul says, why do I do what I do not want to do? But what I want to do, I do not do.
Yeah.
There's so many do's in there. But I talk about this verse all the time because it's honestly something that I realize all the time. Of where I'm like, man, I want to run after God, but everything else in this world doesn't want me to, and it's hard.
Psalms says, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits at the seat of scoffers," which is just basically telling you, stay away from the wicked,
Mm-hmm.
but also says, "Blessed is the man who is in his word," too.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I use that out of context, but um, he the Lord wants you in his word and not standing in the way of the wicked.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that um, that's a great strategy of making time for the Lord and sitting in His Word, so you're not
Yeah.
um, tempted into something that you shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like music, movies,
Yeah.
something something like that needs to be blocked.
Yeah.
And the Word
Yeah.
will always be with you if you're in it.
Yeah.
So
And that's why I'll never fight someone on their convictions.
yeah,
Like my friend was like, I don't feel like Doctor Strange is something I should be supporting after watching that because I feel convicted.
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, we can discuss it, and I can share my view, and you can share your view.
mm-hmm.
But dude, if you're feeling convicted, man, I'm not trying to fight you over to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna cause you to stumble.
Yeah,
I think that's something that's important that we need to realize sometimes as Christians is just because they're convicted doesn't mean you need to fight them to your side.
yeah,
Because maybe you should stop and think maybe my side's wrong too,
yeah,
or maybe I'm in the wrong.
yeah,
If they're feeling convicted, there's obviously something there that I
yeah,
probably should see
yeah.
or figure out.
And that's also another thing of like, are you like admitting that you're wrong, and or if you feel like that tug, like, oh, something's wrong with that person, or like you got into a argument or a talk that you don't feel like that was fully done,
Yeah,
like you need to point that out so you're not ruining your whole life over.
dude, good old pride.
And good old pride.
Pride really gets in the way. Some of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life is truly apologize.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
easy to come up, punch you in the face, and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry." What's the
yeah,
hardest thing to actually mean up being sorry for
yeah,
punching you in the face?
yeah. There's actually there is a chapter in the book that I'm reading, The Life You Always Wanted.
Great book, great book.
It is an amazing book. Uh, it talks a lot about in the chapter that I'm in right now is pride, and how pride can take you over at any time, and how to defend yourself from pride,
Yeah,
so you are not chasing basically chasing a bird and not knowing where you're going,
yeah,
but being led by the Holy Spirit.
mm,
But yeah, it's a great book.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kind of crazy to think that we kind of just went down this rabbit hole after talking about scary movies.
Honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy where you sometimes don't realize that you're going if you don't watch where your feet's taking you up to.
Yeah.
Kind of loosely quote Lord of the Rings there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started watching the Hunger Games again.
Yeah, you said that to me a little earlier today.
Yeah, and um what's weird right now is that the Hunger Games, the whole like collection, is $12 on Apple TV.
Yeah, I don't know a thing about the Hunger Games.
Well, yeah.
I was a homeschooled kid that my parents were like, "No, you can't watch that."
Yeah.
So like, okay.
So like no Harry Potter.
There was no Harry Potter until we went to Universal. It was probably freshman. Yeah, it was my freshman year. We went to Universal. My mom's like, "Well, we're paying for it, so we might as well experience all they have to experience. So let's watch Harry Potter." So that's how I got interested.
That sounds like
into
an
Harry
exception.
Potter. Yeah, maybe a little, but I think at the same time they figured out that Harry Potter
Yeah.
was more of a kid's thing.
Well, have you watched The Lord of the Rings?
Oh yeah, millions of times.
Okay.
So actually, Tristan makes fun of me for this all the time. But when I was younger, so the first Hobbit movie came out when I was a freshman in high school,
Yeah.
and it was the first PG-13 movie I ever convinced my dad to let me see. And I went with my family and a bunch of cousins for New Year's, and it was the hypest I've ever been. Like it was so cool. I went back after the movie, and I remember laying there in bed just shaking from how excited I was that I got to see this Hobbit movie.
Yeah.
And when it came out on Blu-ray, I got the extended edition for Christmas, and this thing was awesome. Dude. 30 extra minutes of this movie that I already had pretty much memorized.
Yeah.
Dude, what better way for that to happen?
Yeah.
And back at that time, I had like 20 to 30 minutes of TV time a day.
Yeah.
So I had to use it sparingly. And somehow I convinced my mom where I'm like, can I watch The Hobbit if I go through and write out the script?
You wrote the script?
So I went through the extended edition of the first Hobbit movie. I made it about like the first hour and a half or whatever, just writing it out on pieces
No
of paper.
way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I would sit there for hours doing it. Eventually, I stopped. It was about the time when the trolls came in.
Yeah.
But anytime there's a new subtitle, I'd pause it, write it down, and then pick up and keep going.
That's crazy.
That was my way to get through the TV time loophole if I could write out the script.
See, I just like watching it.
Yeah. Well, when you can only watch 20 minutes of it a day.
It's fair. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
But I'm like, for me, I'm like, so I was going to talk about something else, but yeah, that's why I said like so much. My mom and me, it's a tradition where if I got sick, we would get pizza or make soup and sit down and eat Pizza Hut together.
Yep.
And watch Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
And that was amazing. So I lived with Harry Potter for a long time. But then my mom got me hooked on Hunger Games. My favorite books ever.
Yeah.
But I obviously watched the movies too. And I like the movies too. The movies with Jennifer Lawrence, pretty good.
Honestly, everything you're saying, I just don't know.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But like, I would watch that. Divergent, Maze Runner.
Yep.
Have
I
you?
love the books. I hated the movies.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Well, I mean, it's the humble but correct opinion.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, I'm saying I agree with you. The books took me a while, but I'm glad that I read them all because that was something that I had to like. If I'm gonna get into the movies, I'm gonna have to read the books, and that's honestly how I felt about watching Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Because Harry Potter leaves out a lot.
So this might be a hot take, but I really wasn't gripped with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Like I read all the books, watched all the movies, but at the end of the day, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Now what I love and I would pick over Harry Potter would be Percy Jackson. I just when I was reading Harry Potter, I'm like, this feels like Percy Jackson.
You know, the day when you told me, oh my gosh, the Percy Jackson trailer came out for Disney Plus, and you told me that, and then I'm like, oh crap, now I'm feeling my Percy Jackson movie watch right now, and so I did, and then I'm like, oh crap, you're right, these are bad. Like I was trying so hard to be like, no, these are fine. No, these are fine. Oh, no, these are not.
Great actors that they have in those movies, but they do nothing.
Yeah, no.
But I went on vacation a couple of weeks ago, and I took the first Percy Jackson book with me. I'm like, man, I forgot how much I love this book. It's still kind of good, and I'm no longer 12 years old.
Yeah.
I'm way past that.
Yeah. I mean, I like reading the books that I used to read when I was little. Like in 6th grade, I read this book called Ember.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it was a book about
the dragon, right?
No, that's a different book. So this book, was based in I think 50,000s. Like it was like dystopian. It was very long ago, and is where all these people lived underground. And there was this one girl that realized, oh, this isn't the real world, because underground. It looked like it was all night,
Mm-hmm.
and so she was like, "There's no way that's only night."
Yeah.
And so like she would go and like investigate, and then she found this trapdoor, and then saw a fox for the first time. It was such a weird book, but
This is a very weird sentence that you've been putting on.
yeah, yeah. This is gonna be a weird segment, but enjoy.
Yeah.
But then she finds the outside world, and then they made 3 more books, and I've yet to read them, and I probably will never because I have too much on my plate already.
Yeah.
But that was my childhood book. Just wanted to say that.
Well, that was fascinating.
Yeah.
I did not understand a single word of it.
You know, there's going to be a lot of people that will agree that most of our sentences, they will not understand any of it.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes me included. In
Yeah.
the words of Michael Scott, sometimes I start a sentence and hope I find its way by the end.
Oh. Michael Scott.
But yeah, Percy Jackson, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how to respond to your thing. Percy Jackson.
Have you watched all of The Office?
Oh, like 14 times at least.
Yeah.
I have all the complete collection on
The
DVD.
collection, yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Do you
I also have a complete collection of Psych.
really?
You probably don't know what Psych is, do you?
No.
Ouch, rate my feelings.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Psych is awesome. One of my friends from church growing up introduced me to it.
Yeah.
It's a guy who's like super observant. Like he
Mhm.
notices everything. Probably has ADHD or something. I don't know. But it's him and his best friend. And he's pretending to be psychic in order to solve investigations for the police, which is obviously a lie. So if he gets caught, he has to go to jail. So, and his best friend knows that he's not a psychic. So they solve all these like really goofy, silly mysteries and try to figure it out and hide from the police the entire time. It's awesome. It was in the era where they did all these like sleuthy mystery TV shows
Yeah.
all over cable. And it's probably the only one that I really enjoy the entire time.
Did you watch PBS Kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite?
The only one I can remember what name of is that I used to watch all the time was Word Girl.
Word Girl?
Yeah.
What about Wild Kratts?
They came after I stopped caring about
Oh.
PBS. I'm a little older than you.
Yeah. Wild Kratts.
Not to dunk on you.
No,
but
you're good. My feelings are only hurt a little bit. It's fine.
yeah, it's okay.
It's
Just something I've realized in the last couple of years is the fond childhood memories of what you watch as a child. Don't go back and rewatch.
Oh, yeah.
Bible Man, I should have stayed with my 6 years.
My friends still watch PBS in their basement. You know that?
I don't know who you're talking about, but you don't need to tell me who.
I'm not telling you who.
Okay.
It's just.
Why are you
interesting.
hating on people for learning?
I'm not.
Evan?
I watch it with them. That's the thing.
Oh. The picture has suddenly become clear to me.
Yeah.
Of what is happening. You know, I learned something interesting today about a fish.
Oh no. No. Don't talk about the fish.
I will not talk about the fish.
The fish story, if you guys want to know, is very, very, very weird.
Go ask Mrs. Ashenfelter. She
Yeah.
will happily tell you
She
about
will
the fish she drew.
She will tell you herself.
What?
Oh, no, I said that wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to know what that is, don't ask us.
I didn't need to know.
Find Connie Ashenfelter. She will help you.
I did not need to know.
You want to know like 2.5%.
I don't even need to know that much.
No.
I tried to let you know that you should get out while you still can. But you refused to get out while you still could, so
Yeah.
your fate was sealed. I tried.
You kind of tried.
I looked at you and said, no.
You're
you
like,
haven't.
You need to leave. That's
I'll
all.
get out of here before you can. Before you can't.
Can't.
There's probably a reason why they don't teach about that fish in school.
No, like, the stuff that they teach in school now is like so weird. Like,
I wouldn't know. I always taught myself.
oh yeah,
Homeschool
homeschooler.
gang.
Yeah. Yeah. What sucks is that like almost all my friends are homeschooled, except for like 3 or 4 people that actually go to the high school still.
Casual Evan L moment.
I know. It's sad, but life is life.
Yep, it is what it is.
Yeah. But thank you for watching. This is probably a good segue out of this podcast. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.
If
There
you
will
liked our theology debate, there'll probably be more coming.
oh
Just randomly.
yeah, most likely we like our rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yep. Thanks for watching, guys.
Peace.
Peace.